Sunday, November 23rd, coming to everybody here on the interwebs with this week's Vitamin Joy Tarot reading. I want to thank you for the opportunity to provide this to folks who want to enjoy these types of readings. The Vitamin Joy Tarot reading is done with my tarot deck, the Vitamin Joy Tarot deck, and it's based on the idea that we have to pursue joy as a vitamin to make sure that we're staying healthy and we don't slide into a bitter or jaded perspective. It's very difficult sometimes in a world where not only are we designed to look for the negative to fix it, but there seems to be an oversaturation of sorrow and trauma and pain in the world around us, and maybe even in our own worlds. So let's do our damnedest to find a little joy, okay? Now, this reading's not going to be too extensive. I am coming off of a little tour, traveling, doing some events, and it just wipes me out. Traveling, performing, wipes me out in a good way. So let's just make this a brief one, shall we? Let's take a look at where we're at, what's challenging us, and what we can lean into for a little bit of guidance. Of course, this is meant for anybody who's watching this right now. So where are we at collectively? Okay. So here we have the Emperor energy. Let's think of this as the ruler of our kingdom. You know, we can lean into this as masculine energy, whether you're a male or female biologically. I think a lot of us feel the imperative to rule over our world, to do the best we can to control, to protect, to guide. That's the Emperor's energy. I like to think of this as Santa Claus energy, that idea of the balanced and ideal masculine. We've heard of the divine feminine energy. Well, there is a divine masculine energy as well. In Asian traditions, we could look at this as yin and yang or yin and yang. You'd have the divine feminine in the yin and the divine masculine in the yang. That's what this is. I think that this is very much a sense of control and, again, wanting the best for ourselves and our loved ones. I think we can all relate to that. So let's take a look at what challenges us. The Ten of Pentacles. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is an idea of heritage and family and ancestry, the entire family of, you know, our young ones to our elders, to animals, to pets. How can this vex us? Well, I think there's a sense of idealism with the Ten of Pentacles. There's a sense of wholesomeness in gathering family around. Well, let's take a look at the week that we're walking into. It's Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving week, holiday weeks can be very tough. We can have a sense of idealism. Like, we want to have the perfect holiday. We want everybody to be happy. We want to accomplish the goals that are associated with those holidays. Yet our families can be challenging. You know, they can be super challenging. Differing political views, differing personalities. I see that as a way for us to balance a sense of obligation to our families, but also understanding that it's not all, you know, peachy keen all the time. And with the Ten of Pentacles, we could have the sense of missing our loved ones in spirit as well. When we lose our loved ones, when we lose our family members, it's hard to muster that energy to have the best holiday, to celebrate in the ways that we used to without our loved ones around. It's hard to keep going sometimes with those traditions, especially when we lose our loved ones. Okay. Before I get into the next card, I always like to illustrate why that's so important to take those types of holidays seriously, especially when we lose our loved ones. Our loved ones in spirit are watching us. The analogy I always use is like the one-way mirror that we would see in a cop show. We're on the side of the suspects where, you know, we're being watched. They're on the side of the police where They're doing the watching. They can see us. They want the best for us. They want us to live in laughter, in joy, in connection, peace. When we deny that for ourselves, willingly deny that for ourselves, imagine what our loved ones in spirit are watching us go through. The card that would provide us guidance around this would be the Seven of Pentacles. What are you cultivating in your life? You know, isn't there a saying in the Bible that you'll know them by their fruits? Well, what kind of fruits are you growing? What kind of life are you cultivating? Do you truly want a life of joy and connection, peace? Those things need to be tended. Those things need to be cultivated. But if we look at it as, pulling weeds in our garden, if you're a gardener and you're out there gardening and tending and fertilizing and watering, if you're in a garden and all you're concentrating on is pulling the weeds, it's going to make it very difficult for you to enjoy the flowers or the fruits or the vegetables that you're growing. So remember what you're cultivating in your life at large. Are you cultivating bitterness and emptiness and sadness? Or are you doing your damnedest to cultivate the fruits of love and joy and connection? This week, I know, will be challenging for a lot of people. It will be really sustaining and hopeful and full of love for a lot of people. But if you find yourself leaning into that sense that it might be difficult or challenging, remember to plant the seeds of beauty and love, even in the small moments, even in the small moments, to find the beauty where it exists. I hope that helps, because the fixers are the ones that will have a hard time with anything that's less than ideal, because we see things that don't match our ideals and we want to bring them up to meet that. Not everything in this world will be conducive to that. So I hope that you can reconcile your idealism with perhaps where reality lands. We can want the best and we can have these high standards, yet sometimes, despite our best efforts, our life doesn't produce those. Or there are people or situations that we are interacting with that don't really contribute to that. Grow the fruits. Grow the fruits, no matter what the soil is like, and understand that sometimes there will be a blight on your plants or weeds in your garden, and we have to do our best to manage them, but also appreciate whatever fruits we are growing. So thank you for this. Find your joy. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful week, and just take care of yourself. Find me, my readings, my website, all of that stuff at joshsimons.com.